Okay. We should explore first. A flag up. Let's see what's fun to actually get. I need to. Oh. Not. Not me. Alright, let's explore. Let's see if there's any quests, and if there's quite a bit of support. There's a lot of support.
We've come such a long way. After all, I was only 4 years old when we first met.
From your perfect memory, Lady Edelgard, I expect nothing short of the utmost precision. Do go on.
Please don't mock me with such frivolous praise. I can hardly recall that day.
Forgive me. I suppose I must have been 6 at the time. I have no recollection of it. My earliest memory of you is of when you were injured. I recall being scolded most sternly by my father. "You are Lady Edelgard's servant," he said. "You must protect her with your life."
I had no idea. But House Vestra has served House Fresfelg for generations. Given that, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Indeed. After that, I made certain to accompany you wherever you went. That is, until the incident.
Ah, when my uncle, Lord Arundel, defected to the kingdom and took me with him.
The sensation of loss that overcame me on that day defies all description. It was as horrific as if I'd lost all my limbs. I left the city in a mad rush to rescue you. My father sent soldiers to capture me. I fought them off for 3 days, but they did finally manage it. Of course, I was only 10. I never would have reached Ferdiad.
I've never heard that story before. So there are things you've never told me.
It wasn't important.
That's beside the point. I wish to know these things. If there's anything else you're keeping from me, please tell me at once.
Respectfully, I decline.
Why? It's a simple order. I really must know.
Speaking of your orders, there was a task you gave me earlier which I have yet to carry out.
Wait just a moment. I just hope he's not hiding anything too worrisome.
I doubt he would. Edelgard and Ferdinand.
Standing tall, I see.
People.
Edelgard, hello. What do you think of this horse? An equine marvel, no? Look how intelligent he is. You can see it in his face. Certainly much smarter than your horse.
Oh, what a lovely bloom.
Behold, Edelgard. Do you see this blood-red bloom? This is much more impressive than the pale little sprigs you have there. And as I'm sure you know, redness symbolizes courage and strength.
Ferdinand? Stop. I can't believe you're wasting my time with a petty one-sided rivalry.
What are you complaining about? You told me not to publish my pamphlet, and I complied.
I've had enough of your foolish antics. Very well. I will grant you the duel you so desperately desire. But when I win, you must forfeit the right to bother me with your ridiculousness. Forever. Do we have a deal?
Ah, so you'll fight me after all? Wonderful. To battle, then! All right, Edelgard. Have at me!
As you wish. Ha!
It only took you one blow? How?
I can't afford to hold
Ferdinand.
back against an opponent like you. I led with my fastest, strongest strike.
Fastest and strongest? You're just flattering me. I have been defeated. Utterly. I cannot believe I was foolish enough to challenge such a plainly superior opponent.
The difference in our skill level is not so great as all that. If you had taken the first strike, you might have won. That's why I didn't give you the chance.
I do not think talent is what separates us so much as readiness. I had not the faintest idea of what to expect from a real duel. I was playing, but you were not. That such an ill-prepared noble would think to challenge you? It is laughable.
Ferdinand.
Air support. Up. Petra!
I have been watching you in secrecy, Edelgard. But you and Hubert were noticing me, correct?
Well, if you intend to shadow us like that, you can be sure it won't escape our notice. Hubert was primed and ready to remove you. I ordered him to stand down.
You have my thanks. I have been making a decision that I am wanting to learn from you. I was thinking it was enough to be shooting one bird with one arrow. But after speaking with you, I trained with hardness. Now I can be shooting 2 birds with 1 arrow.
2 pheasants? Are you implying that...
Yes, a single arrow.
That's astounding, Petra. It's perhaps a bit late to explain now, but what I was getting at earlier was actually...
I am having a joke.
You... come again?
I really was shooting these birds with 1 arrow, but my joke is that I did have understanding about what you told me. I took it to my heart.
Did you know?
Edelgard seemed to...
You are a person with great bluntness. I am admiring of you. As an emperor, a commander, a warrior, and a friend, you are excelling at all that you do. All of the Empire is resting on your shoulders, and that is including Brigid, too. I will not be falling behind you. I will be carrying Brigid on my shoulders, too. And one day, you and I will be facing each other, and we will be shaking hands.
Yes, that much is certain. I can see that you no longer need me to look out for you. You and I are much the same. We dutifully shoulder our burdens and stand tall no matter what. It would be foolish of me to deny it.
Your words give me great joy. And it also gave me joy to see you being flustered when I was showing you the birds.
A cheap trick, to be sure, but inarguably funny. To think that you went to all the trouble of shooting 2 pheasants at once for the sake of a joke. Well played, Petra.
We both are growing every day. I hope we will keep doing so.
Okay. That's Edelgard. Yeah. This is gonna be a long ride.
I can't believe it. How can I show my face to Lady Edelgard after this?
That's what you get, Hubert. If you rested like me, you wouldn't collapse from exhaustion.
As much as it pains me to say it, you're right. But to be looked after by you of all people, that might be the worst part of this. I don't know how to feel, to be honest. So for now, let's pretend I thanked you.
Oh, come now. Even I wouldn't abandon someone who collapsed.
You would have in a heartbeat if anyone else had been around.
Ah, yes. Quite accurate, Hubert. Why would I ever bother to be a decent person if there were anyone else I could foist the duty upon? If your situation turned bad, it would have been an absolute hassle. I could never just leave you there.
If that were the sort of man you truly were, we could never be friends.
But if we weren't friends, I probably would have just left you.
Shame you're so reluctant to do any real work. You're actually pretty good at this. Made sure I was comfortable, checked carefully for injuries, even carried me here yourself. If only you'd apply that knowledge of yours so proactively and thoroughly all the time, you'd be a tremendous asset to the Empire.
There you go again. I see no problem with staying just the way I am. But think of it this way. In an anthill, 20% of the ants are asleep at any given time. And it's
Okay.
not because they're lazy. Far from it. When the working ants become tired, they go to sleep and the others wake up. That's me. I'm the ant who rests so I can work later when other people are tired.
Maybe that's true. But even if it is, it's still just a fancy way to say you let others do all the work. Consider me unconvinced.
I'll consider you a bother and leave it at that. You and Edelgard work far too hard. I mean it. Take a break now and then. If you both collapsed, I think it'd be too much effort for me to bother with. Get some rest, Hubert. Not as much as me, of course.
Fine.
Okay, another quest for you. For the data quest.
Hubert?
Yes?
I wanted to thank you for the other day. You know, when I fainted. Thank you for carrying me back to my room.
That was nothing. It saved me effort in the long run. Leaving you there would have just caused even more trouble.
I guess
He's
that's
taking it
true.
off of Lindhurst.
Well, thanks. There, I said it, and now I'm going.
Is this why you've been circling me like a vulture for the last several hours?
Vulture's a bit... Well, yes.
Yet you would have fled if I'd approached. It seems you will avoid me at almost any cost.
Well, that's...
You don't need to say it. I know. I'm frightening. I'm told so often.
Please don't laugh like that.
Garrett.
Apologies. I will be mindful not to laugh in your presence from now on.
The grin of death itself. Terrifying.
You think?
Oh no, now you're angry too.
Hardly. I'm sorry to have frightened you.
No, you're not. It's a trick. You're lulling me into a false sense of security. I can't stand it.
She's a lost cause. Looking out toward Brigid, are you?
Yes. There are some times I cannot stop my thoughts from going home. It will be much time before I return. Brigid feels... far away.
Oh.
It is quite a long way. To say nothing of the sea that lies between here and there. Being unable to return must further add to the distance in your mind.
It is as you say. When I return to Brigid, I will be the new queen. I am wishing to show my strength during this war, and to help relations with the Empire.
I believe you will be successful. You may not be Lady Edelgard's equal, but you are resourceful enough to make an excellent queen. And unlike Lady Edelgard, you will not be forced to harden your heart.
Not Edelgard's equal. Is that what you are saying?
Understand that I mean no disrespect.
I
by
mean,
this,
Hubert's
but it is a
Simon.
fact that you are far beneath her. Make no mistake about what would happen if you were to raise your banner in revolt against her. She would crush you mercilessly.
That is not a difference of equality. It is a difference of power.
Even if our homelands were on equal footing, Lady Edelgard would still prevail.
I can see with clarity the difference between me and Lady Edelgard. But that has no matter. I would never lose.
How amusing. For your sake, you had better hope you are right.
Can't choose me, underside. Of course. That's who ends up winning that role.
That's the last of them. Another threat to Her Majesty? Who's there?
It's me. You owe me for that one.
Shamir, what are you doing here?
Same thing you are, but I'm after a particular target. The dark side of the Knights of Seiros is proving troublesome. I should have known, having been one.
I was negligent. I had thought we'd sufficiently thinned the numbers of these scum. Seems I was mistaken. In any case, you have my thanks.
Save it. Just doing my job.
Even so, killing your former allies. Do you feel no remorse whatsoever?
You wouldn't, so I ask.
You are not me. Answer the question.
What's it matter? I owed a debt to Rhea. I served in the Knights of Seiros to repay her. I repaid that debt, now I'm here. I'm sure
Okay.
it was considered dishonorable of me to leave, but that's none of my concern. I have no connection to the Seiros faith, nor to the ways of Fodlan.
That's right. You're from Dagda. Well, consider me glad you're on the right side. At least for the time being.
You worry too much. Watch out, or it'll be the death of you.
Get ready. Dylan Hart and listen.
There you are, Lysithea. I've been looking for you. So, I have a hypothesis about your crests.
I know you're the one who sent me that anonymous letter.
What?
There are things we must discuss. Ugh, it sounded like some bizarre love letter.
What? No, of course not. However, I wonder what you would have done if it was.
Now I'm just confused and grossed out.
I'm sorry, but that is not the overall topic of discussion. Do pay attention.
Pay attention to you? As though anything you say is worth listening to. It's not like you can tell me anything I don't already know.
You don't have a very positive opinion of your crests, do you? That's why you should listen to me. I've dug through all my books, and there's no record of anyone being born with two crests. You are,
Okay.
to be blunt, an impossible occurrence. For you to have a second crest, it must have been forcibly implanted after birth.
Is that your theory then?
Yes, it is. To further the theory, if the power exists to implant a crest, then it must be possible to remove one too.
Oh.
And that is the real issue at hand.
I could have one removed?
That's what Hanneman was working on understanding. I'm continuing his work.
Professor Hanneman.
Based on your reaction, it seems you want one of your crests removed. I don't think I'd give up having two crests if I were you.
Is that so? Even if you'd gone through horrifying experiments, endless trauma, and if you knew that all this pain meant you'd die very, very young? That's what you'd think? You're completely lacking in empathy, so of course you would make such a crass and foolish assumption.
Okay, well, we got somewhere. Casper and Petra. Getting there.
Caspar, that equipment is new. It is suiting. It suits you.
Oh, right. Thanks.
You get more strength each day. I do not want to be falling behind.
I'm impressed with how much stronger you've gotten too. More than I have.
No, Caspar, you are impressing to me. I want to be training with you.
Just hold on, Petra.
What is wrong?
It's your attitude. How can you act so casual around me? My father killed your father. You shouldn't be able to stand the sight of me.
I
You
forgot.
actually hate me, right?
That was said like 3
That's
years
fine.
ago.
I can take it. I completely understand. Just be honest. Give it to me straight. If our roles were reversed, I don't think I'd be able to forgive you. I don't understand how you could
You are not the one who did the killing, Caspar. Our parents had conflict, but we are not them. I have no worry about it. You should not either.
I don't need to worry? Impossible! I don't think I'll ever be...
You must. If not, the conflict will keep carrying on.
I see.
If children cannot forgive, it will not ever have an ending. Is that what you are wanting?
Well, of course not.
Please, give it some thinking. I will be leaving now.
Well, there's Casper and Petra super. We've got Bernadetta. We've got 2 more. Are we supposed to definite this?
I must have had a nightmare.
You're awake. Yuritsa.
Yeah, that's it. Professor Yuritsa.
I am not a professor.
Wait, what? You're not Professor Yuritsa? Oh, yeah. Professor Yuritsa always wears a mask. So then, who are you?
Yuritsa.
I don't understand. Look, are you Professor Yuritsa or aren't you? Please make yourself clear.
I am Yuritsa, but I am not a professor.
A Yuritsa who
Hey.
is not a professor? So there are two
that-
Yuritsas
that's
running around
that's
the
too much.
monastery? Oh, wait. Aha! I got it. I get it now. You're no longer a professor. Therefore, you're just Yuritsa. Plain old Yuritsa.
Yeah.
Our professor isn't a professor anymore either, but doesn't mind the title. I guess I figured you'd be fine with being called professor as well.
When I was teaching, it was simply a task, nothing more.
I don't really get it, but it sounds like there's a lot going on in that skull of yours, Yuritsa. Bernie, what the heck are you even doing in the infirmary?
You took one look at me and passed out.
Huh? Don't be silly! There's absolutely no reason I'd faint at the sight of you, Yuritsa. I'm coming down with a sudden cold, I think. Yeah! I've gotta run to my room.
Okay. And one more. Petra and Shamir.
Shamir, can I be having your time? There is a thought that is giving me great concern.
Let's hear it, Petra.
Okay.
If Dagda is ever invading Fodlan again, what will you be doing?
I'd join the army of Dagda. I'd lay waste to Fodlan and return to my homeland.
If that is the truth, then I am having one more question for you. If that was happening, would you be fighting your allies in the Imperial Army too?
Of course. You expect me to die for you? You should be prepared to do the same. Your homeland would likely join Dagda.
So, that is your truth.
Maybe. If you'd asked me 5 years ago.
Oh.
I've been a mercenary since childhood. Always fighting for a bounty. If my allies didn't pay, I'd side with the enemy. It's why I became a sniper. Easier to dispose of anyone with a reward on their head. It's also why I joined the Knights of Seiros. I owed them a debt, but that's all changed.
You are not fighting for money now?
That's right. When I see everyone fighting for Fodlan, I feel inclined to help.
Oh,
I won't die for the cause, but I will protect everyone. If the army of Dagda engaged you, I'd fight at your side.
Hearing that is it gives me great joy. Until the war is finished, let us fight together.